I'm here to turn myself in. I had an accident last night. Because I know what happened.
You think something's happened to a male in this address?
No, I know what happened.
Tell me what happened.
You're gonna think about me, but it's not gonna be me because there's no proof.
Police investigations usually require endless hours of work, careful questioning, and piecing together evidence. But every once in a while, a case practically solves itself because the suspect does all the work for the investigators. The first begins with a man named Brian E. Mason. On March 26, 2023, 58-year-old Brian E. Mason approached a Miami-Dade police officer and casually admitted that he had killed someone. According to Mason, the shooting wasn't intentional.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, mommy's.
Okay.
Hey,
What's going on?
I'm here to turn myself in.
Okay, what's going on?
I had an accident last night.
Okay.
I was showing an old friend of mine how to use this gun that she was needing, that she asked for, and it went off and it shot her in the chest.
Okay.
And I've been running around scared.
Where is this at?
Up on Miami-Montgomery County Line Road.
Okay. You just want to set your water right there?
Sure.
Just put yourself up there. You got any weapons on you right now?
No.
Okay. Just put your hands behind your back for me. I'm just going to detain you right now based on what you're telling me.
Right. I understand.
If you want to talk to me, I'll still talk to you. Okay.
Right.
Does this person need assistance or help or?
You have two sets of cuffs?
I can put two sets on you in a second, okay? Does this person need help right now or are they deceased or what?
They're deceased.
Does anybody else know about this?
No. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I've been waiting.
Where is this address actually that you're at?
I don't know the actual number.
Is this her house or your house or?
No, it's a friend of mine's house.
What county is it in?
It's on the Miami County side, but it's on Miami-Montgomery County Line Road.
Miamisburg 311. I'll be in the back lot with one. Can you do a miscellaneous call? I have one detained. Can you start 310? What's your name, sir?
I'm Brian.
Brian?
Brian.
I'm Officer Dooley. I'm just going to check you down.
Go right ahead.
He claimed he was showing a firearm to a friend when it accidentally discharged, striking her in the chest. Body camera footage captures the exact moment Mason surrendered to police. He told officers that the woman had died from the gunshot wound and insisted it was a tragic accident. However, one detail immediately raised suspicion. Mason waited nearly a day before contacting law enforcement. If the shooting had truly been accidental, why didn't he call 911 right away?
Up on the Miami-Montgomery County Line Road.
Miami-Montgomery County Line Road. Do you have an address?
I don't know her house number.
What's her name?
I think it's in the 9000 series. Okay. Her name is Michelle Elliott.
What's her age, approximately?
57. Same age as me. I've known her for 50 years.
Is this her address?
Yes.
But when she lives in the 9000 block Miami County Line Road, and her name's Michelle Elliott.
Yes.
What kind of cars are in the driveway?
Yeah, none.
There's
She
none.
just-
What does the
none.
house look like? If you could describe it to me so I could describe it to somebody else.
3-bedroom brick ranch.
Like what color is the garage door?
White?
If I pulled up like Google Maps or something, would you be able to show me the house? Okay, well, let's go do that.
You want to go basement?
Do you mind, will you come downstairs to the interview room with us?
No problem.
So I'm just going to pat you down one more time. Is that cool with you?
Yeah.
At this stage, officers focused on gathering basic information. They needed to know where the incident occurred and confirm the victim's identity. Mason provided the woman's name and confirmed she was deceased, yet strangely couldn't recall the address where the shooting took place. To move the investigation forward, one officer escorted Mason inside for additional questioning, while another searched Mason's truck for potential evidence.
Okay. Do you know about what month she was born in?
November, I think. I'm not sure.
Do you know about what year?
Oh, yeah. 66.
Miamisburg 311. Can you try November 1st, 1966 on that Michelle Elliott?
Yeah, sorry, we never exchanged cards and stuff like that.
So you don't live on Soldier's Home anymore?
No, I do not.
Okay, gotcha.
No, I've been, I was living in my truck, and then after my health started failing, and I couldn't keep a med card because my blood pressure was too high, yeah, I quit and then took my savings and just been staying in rooms or in my truck.
Okay, I gotcha. Were you staying at that house with her?
No.
Would she let you stay there, or?
No, well, she offered, but because of her debilitating disease, I couldn't. It was too tough to be around her.
Okay.
It was too tough to be around her when she was drunk and high.
Okay. Gotcha.
And I don't drink and I don't take pills. So
I gotcha.
that's what we argued about all the time. You know, if it wasn't, if I ignored it, it was fine. But I had to put up with the way she acts when she was under the influence.
Although Mason had voluntarily turned himself in and appeared cooperative, his calm demeanor stood out. He showed little visible emotion over the death of someone he described as a longtime friend. This raised an important question. Was he genuinely remorseful, or was he trying to control the narrative?
All right, here's your water for you.
Thank you.
Do you know her middle name by any chance?
No, I don't.
You don't? Okay, but you said it's a brick ranch, white garage door.
Right.
Does it have is it way off the road? Is it close?
No, it's close to the road, and it's approximately maybe a half a mile to 3/4 of a mile east of State Route 49, just north of Phillipsburg.
Okay, I'm sorry, say that again. You said it's about 3/4
Yes.
of a mile east.
It'll be on the Miami County side, the north side of the road,
East of Phillipsburg?
north of Phillipsburg.
But east of what road, I'm sorry?
Oh, State Route 49.
49.
A search of the residence ultimately led officers to a grim discovery. Inside the home, they found the body of Michelle Elliott. Mason was later taken into custody and charged with reckless homicide involving a firearm, along with possession of a weapon while under a legal disability. He was ultimately sentenced to 8 years in prison. Cases like this show how suspects can sometimes make an investigator's job far easier, especially when they confess before the police even ask the first question. But what happens when traditional police work isn't enough, and investigators are forced to use unconventional tactics to catch a killer?
Your story doesn't make a lot of sense.
You need to be truthful. Okay, so I feel so.
On January 9th, 2018, a man named Brian Heisler contacted Harvard police to report that his sister, Roberta Snyder, had gone missing. After taking his statement, officers decided to locate Roberta's husband, Phil Snyder, to hear his side of the story.
You guys okay?
I'm okay, yes.
Okay.
My wife passed away. She choked on her phlegm. She'd been choking for about a year. She wanted to go down one more time before she died. I think she knew she was gonna die.
So where's your wife now? What happened to her?
They took her to a place where they cremate people.
Okay, and you don't know where that is either?
When police arrived at Phil's home, his explanation immediately raised eyebrows. Phil told officers that his wife had died 3 days earlier while they were traveling to Graceland. According to him, she suddenly became unresponsive. He claimed he tried to stop paramedics for help, but they told him she wouldn't survive. Phil said her body was then taken away to be cremated. After this initial conversation, officers searched Phil's home. They carefully went through Roberta's belongings, including her purse, hoping to find anything that might clarify what actually happened. Investigators then sat Phil down for a second interview.
You remember the checkers, passing the checkers?
Yeah, I think could have been checkers, maybe.
We're trying to find your wife. You know, Jenny's worried about where his mom is too. I've been a cop for 40 years. I started in 1977. What I can tell you is that Your story doesn't make a lot of sense. So, Stuart, it's time for you to tell us what you haven't told us before.
I haven't told you everything.
And right now, your wife is a missing person. You say she's dead.
By this point, it was clear that law enforcement was skeptical of his version of events.
Story doesn't make a lot of sense.
To gather more context, officers spoke again with Roberta's family, including her brother.
Just by chance, I happened to call him, and he said, yeah, we're on our way to Graceland. I had no idea they were going.
You were the last one to speak with her, though.
January.
After hearing their concerns, the police decided to confront Phil once more. This time, his story changed completely.
You need to be truthful. It's that time. Did you leave Graceland? Yes. Yes. Is that where her body is? Is it Graceland? Yes. Can we go down there and get it?
You can go up, I don't know where. Oh my goodness, I feel so bad.
Okay, so
I feel so I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm so sorry. I feel so bad. But she was dead on the way down. I'm gonna admit that. That's the reason that you didn't see her on the videos, because she was already dead. She was dead on the way down.
So why did you throw her?
I didn't want her to. I didn't want her to be grieved. I wanted her to be with nature.
Now, Phil claimed that Roberta had died during the road trip, and that afterward, he disposed of her body by throwing it into the Tennessee River. The sudden shift in his explanation immediately alarmed investigators. To dig deeper, police brought cadaver dogs into Phil's residence.
He is looking at a red bin.
There's no body here, but there's a very bad smell in this tote. He won't leave it. He came back to it three times.
During the search, the dogs alerted to a red plastic tub stored inside the home. Although no body was found, forensic testing later revealed the presence of human blood inside the container. With this discovery, Phil became the primary suspect.
I didn't cut the shirt. I didn't cut any shirt off.
Well, the science says that's not true.
I carried her out of the house.
Over your shoulder?
Yeah.
Drag her?
No.
Dad, do you understand what's going on here? Where is Roberta?
In the Tennessee River.
And the floor of your truck looked like a constellation. It was so bright. You're guilty of something.
I'm not. I didn't kill my...
Detectives brought him in for an interrogation, but the interview quickly became frustrating. Phil continued to change his story yet again. First, he claimed Roberta had choked and died. Then he said she passed away on the road to Graceland. Now, he insisted she died naturally, and that he wrapped her body in trash bags before dumping it in the river. Investigators weren't convinced. A luminol test detected blood inside Phil's vehicle, contradicting his claims. Police also informed him that he failed a polygraph test. But even then, Phil refused to admit to anything beyond his latest version. With the interrogation going nowhere, detectives decided to take a more creative approach. They enlisted the help of an undercover officer named John Baugh. The plan was straightforward: wear a wire, gain Phil's trust, and secretly record a confession.
Now, do they have good coffee here? Really?
Yeah, I just got divorced in Cincinnati. I got 2 grown kids. I take care of her in the afternoon and all night, and she needs a break from me.
We have a fine seat here.
You do, don't you?
Don't get friendly with him.
Oh, really? With that guy there?
He's the one his wife's missing.
Somebody was telling me about that.
That's him. They can't find the body, so they can't charge him.
Do you think he did it?
He said he did, and then he's not well in the head.
Drive for an hour, I'll drive for an hour.
Okay. So, Phil, what'd you think of the donuts?
Oh, very, very good.
Were they good?
John assumed the alias, Missy, and approached Phil at a Burger King, striking up what seemed like a casual, harmless conversation. At first, their chats were shallow, talking about coffee and daily routines. Over time, Missy shared personal stories about her children and her sick mother. The two began meeting almost every day, often at fast food restaurants. Missy slowly became someone Phil trusted. She even bought him donuts for his birthday.
What I did first was I said the paramedics in Memphis took her because she died on her way to Memphis.
Oh, okay.
I lied to them,
Right.
so they figured it out.
Yeah, but
Since I lied to them, they spent all that time searching for her.
like you said, as long as they don't have the body, they can't tell what she died from.
Do you think they're gonna find her?
No. Because I don't think she's in the Tennessee River. No.
What do you think she is?
I don't know. I'm dying to know.
I didn't do anything. She died.
Oh, come on, Phil.
She died. So what do you think? I hit her in the head with a hammer and killed her?
Maybe I could if I got mad enough.
But I didn't do that. So what do you do with that in the trash?
Yeah.
He said take it to the dump.
Oh, you put her in the dumpster.
That's a scenario.
I know, but okay. Oh, then she's buried 10 feet deep in garbage now.
So you think I whacked her?
Did you?
If you roll your mom over in bed and she's asleep,
Yeah.
you put your head down
Yeah.
and she dies.
Yeah.
She smokes. You aren't working for the Hartsville Police, are you?
Are you kidding me? No.
Yes, there was a little bit of blood, but it was on the plastic.
They didn't find.
And then the lamp had, this is scenario. It's all scenario.
Right.
The lamp that she was working on had some specks on it that I noticed.
You got rid of the
I
lamp?
said, oh, put it in there, and the plywood that was in the back of the truck, put it in there. That's the reason the dog didn't find it. I want you to come back tomorrow, so I'm not going to tell you anything.
No.
Say there's a marriage of convenience.
Then somebody gets
$900 a month.
interesting. Bizarre.
It's just an idea. I had had enough. I had enough. It was a pretty good argument the night before.
Yeah.
But I didn't kill her. Actually, I kind of did.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Did you feel any guilt?
In a way, kind of. But I didn't tell anybody anything. Can you imagine a hammer this big and this big around?
Like a mallet?
Yeah, 2 pounds.
Okay.
Just scenario.
Right.
Say I bonked her in the head.
Right.
And her tongue came. Just scenario.
Right.
I put a bag over her head and I put it in a Rubbermaid, just scenario.
Right.
Container. Put it in the back of the truck.
In a separate one than you put her?
Separate.
During one meeting at Wendy's, Missy asked Phil how his wife had died. Phil seemed confident that he had fooled the police and began speaking more freely. Missy carefully guided the conversation, pretending she was overwhelmed by her own struggles and had even thought about killing someone close to her. Phil, believing her story, began offering advice. Eventually, he revealed another version of events,
Push your head down.
Yeah.
claiming Roberta died on the couch after rolling onto a plastic tarp. He explained that he placed her body into a container afterward. The following day, they met again, this time at McDonald's. Phil suggested they move to Cincinnati together, offering her $900 a month from his pension. Missy used the moment to press him, giving him an ultimatum. She wouldn't go anywhere unless he told her the truth. That's when Phil finally confessed. He admitted that after an argument, he placed a cloth over Roberta's face while she slept and struck her with a hammer. He then covered her head with a bag, placed her body in a plastic container, and disposed of it during his trip to Tennessee. After weeks of carefully planned meetings, investigators finally had what they needed.
How are you? Coming up on Hunky Dory. Peachy Keen.
Step up.
You're kidding.
Step up. Put your hands right there. Put your hands on it.
Okay.
Both hands. Fun of games are over.
All right, Phil. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in court.
Phil Snyder later pleaded guilty to murder and was sentenced to 20 years to life in prison. Share this video with someone who needs to understand how one encounter, one decision, can decide the rest of a person's life. Don't forget to drop a comment. What moment do you believe changed everything? Your perspective might help someone else see this case in a new light. For more stories that expose what really happens when the cameras start rolling, watch the next Unsolved Case Vault video on your screen.